right, guess what we got today? Stuff to spill on our face. Are we ready? Not yet. All right. We've still got man voice though, so that's one thing, which is fantastic. I'm going to have my comments going on my computer next to me just so that I can stay on track and not miss anything. But yesterday we went over content, some content heavy stuff. And thank you for bearing with me in advance for these, just the sinus issues, the sound of my voice, and the sniffles. I'm really hoping to put myself in a bubble at the end of the day. So what we were talking about yesterday is bringing in content connections that actually help bring your tribe around, get the people who belong in your circle, and really helping them. Because without that kind of strong, valuable, helpful, impactful content, you're not going to convince anybody that you're there to help them and that you know what you're doing. So yesterday's training is pretty important in that way. And I want to point out again that we talked about a little bit about imposter syndrome yesterday. And in our private group too, in the Impact-Driven Entrepreneurs group, we talked about imposter syndrome in a big way yesterday. We kind of did a deep dive, and we gave tactical and mindset help around the issue of imposter syndrome. So it's a two-pronged approach, and we talked about that. If you have problems with imposter syndrome, I invite you to go to that free group to get the training. That was up from yesterday, and it's really powerful, from David Waldie and Chaz Molesky, and it's something that they're both actually really excellent at. So today we're going to talk about getting clients into your circle, calling in more clients that actually belong in the space with you. So not every client is created equal. There are people that will pay you to work with you that you actually don't want to work with. There are people that will beg you to give you their money, and you really shouldn't be taking it because, number one, maybe you can't really help them all the way, or number two, it's not a good personality fit, and you're deciding maybe to take the money over the kind of warning sign that something might go wrong here. And not to say that you don't know what you're doing. You might know exactly what you're doing, but there are certain personality conflicts that can come up when you're consulting with somebody in a way that they can't refuse, or they can't receive your information. They won't listen to you, and they won't apply what you're telling them to do in order to get them better because of that tension between you two. And it could be like completely subconscious. It could just be like some weird personality thing where you remind them of some friend that did them wrong like 30 years ago. But like whatever that is, you should only be bringing onto your client list clients who you would love to work with. And I say that with knowing that there is probably financial fear about whether or not you should be taking on this client. Well, I don't have any clients. I'd really like to take one. Please don't make the mistake of taking the wrong one. Do the work to find the right clients. And I'm going to help you with that today. Do the work to find the right clients so that you can help them the most. Because it's not just about it is about you enjoying what you do, for sure, of course, but it's not just about that. It's also about them having a great experience with you as a consultant, coach, trainer, whatever, so that they can get the maximum results. So if you're saying yes to people and you're bringing them on just because they're willing to pay, you're going to have a lot of headaches in your business, for sure. Please take my advice on that. Please avoid the mistakes that I have made and that so many people have made by being like, well, they're willing to pay me. I know I can help them. It's not going to end well. Right on time, with the splash effect. Okay, so today, calling in more clients. If you're here, let me know where you're tuning in from, what your name is, what you're doing here, and actually like what you do for work. Like, what are you doing for work? Because I'd love to help you get these kinds of clients in, and we can talk about examples about how to do that. So some people saying like collecting clients, getting clients. I don't like that language. I'm saying it to you because that's something that people understand, getting more clients, but I want to challenge you to look at that in a different way. When I say calling in clients, I think that feels better to me because getting people feels like it's just the energy and the enthusiasm of collecting people and like grabbing money. I don't like it. Like we're dealing with human beings who need some kind of help, and they are their souls, their hearts on the other end of this screen. We shouldn't be like getting people. We should be calling them into our space so that we can help them. And so when you start to think about it like that, you start to remember that they're human beings. You start to remember that they're not dollar signs. You start to remember that it's more about their results and the ease of helping them than anything else. So calling in more clients is a little bit better. Oh, Alex, you're here. Why can't I see your comment yet, sir? There you are. Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome, you're here, Alex. So that's what I want to start with, calling in more clients versus getting more clients. Just challenge yourself to think about it a little bit differently when you're talking about it, when you're writing about it, whatever. So the instinct is to focus on sales, and that's not our fault. It's not our fault because that's where we are culturally driven. We're driven in, a capitalist society for most of us, and that's not a bad thing. It's not bad. Like, a capitalist society provides a lot of opportunity for people, a lot of freedoms for people, and it's not a negative thing in my opinion. But what we've done corporately is kind of told people, and this is how people operate in business in terms of company structure, business structure, organizational structure, corporate structure, where you'll meet every week in a sense and find out what the sales are doing. Yes, it's important to do that, but don't let it be just about sales, because the second you do that, you lose your fire for your business and you lose your heart for your clients. I came from corporate real estate in a way that was like that. Every single Monday was a sales meeting. The whole office would show up in the sales meeting, and the fire was under the feet of all the salespeople, right? So you could close a $3 million deal, have it signed on Friday. You show up on Monday. They're like, Lister, that's my last name. Lister, what you got? That's closed. What else you got? Like, no celebration, no focus, no how'd you do it, what'd you do, what worked, what didn't, how's the client feeling, are there any things we can do to help them, what's the experience, but nothing. What's next? That's the business training that I had. So I went from finance and marketing in university right into that kind of a company culture. So coming from that space for years and then jumping into the entrepreneurial space, it took a lot of work, a lot of mental work to try to shift things about like, oh wait, it actually matters more about the individual and how they're doing. Because in a company, in an industry like real estate, it's not about like, oh, what's your mission statement? To build buildings and make a lot of money. So that's what the developers were doing, and that's what the banks are doing. But in this kind of a service-based industry, you're changing lives. You're affecting people's hearts, their futures, their emotional state, their physical, their wealth state, all of that, and it matters. So it's a shift in thinking. So when you start to talk about calling in more clients to your space, thinking about them in a way that how can I best serve them it feels counterintuitive, but I swear to God, through and through, this is the way to wealth. This is the way to success. This is the way to transforming your clients' lives. Alex, you said, yes, we need to appreciate we have value to offer our clients. My biggest challenge is articulating the outcomes I have created for previous clients as a result of my business coaching. I believe client buy outcomes, not services. So Alex, one of the things you can do is ask them for their, hey Javi, how are you? Javi's on our team. He's an amazing video producer. We love him so much. And he also sounds like me right now for some reason. So Alex, one of the things you can do is grab testimonials. So get those testimonials from the mouths of your former clients. Ask what they had to say about whatever you did with them, right? So not only can you do that, Alex, and everybody else, grab the testimonials, ask them for that, but also lean into the step-by-step process that you've helped them through. Not in a way of first we do this, then we do this, then we do this, but in a way that's like I take them through this 5-step process. This is what the process looks like. First, we tackle this thing, then we tackle this thing. You don't have to go through all the steps, right, in those things. And then you say, so they started here and they ended up here. And you talk about that transformation in terms of the results for your clients in that way. While saying you can, set the expectations. This is part of calling in your clients, right? These testimonials is a great question, Alex, because this is part of it. Calling in clients, it's a passive way to do that, kind of, because Andrew, because when you give the testimonials that are honest like that, when you show people what the results are like, you're not saying this is what I guarantee. You're saying this has been this person's experience from working with me. Here's what I've been able to help them with. By working with me, we've done this to this. I've taken them from here to here. Typically, when I work with people, it looks like this, and you can kind of like summarize that, walk that out. And a lot of people start here, and they want to end up here. We talk about it like that too. So calling in the clients in that way is letting them know, if you're this person, if you had this experience to start and you want to get over here, I might be your person. So stay tuned, like keep following me, check in with me. Comment below if this resonates. Let me know if you're struggling with these things. Here are some helpful tips to get you through, like other people have gotten through with me. And Andrew, there's nothing more that I love than your ridiculous commentary on here. It makes me feel very young when you talk like that. I need more DJs in my life. Just kidding, I only need one. Andrew, you rock. Okay, so let me know if that's helpful, Alex, because if that's because I can go more specific with you based on what you do. I know you do a couple of different things too. So, but leaning into the compassion, empathy-driven approach versus sales will get you to sales. It will get you to the sales and to the increase and to the referrals and to the scaling opportunities. That's where it starts. So, yes, people that are these conglomerates, these multinational or global brands, yes, they are hyper focused on sales and they're doing very well, but they're not necessarily service based. And by the time they got to that, they weren't always that way. They grew to that, and now they have a bunch of systems and a bunch of people working for them and departments that are taking care of these things. It's different when you're an entrepreneur anyway. So think about that when you're talking about this. Well, I don't know, Coca-Cola's really killing it, and they focus on sales a heck of a lot. Yes, they do. They didn't start there, though. It was bringing bottles to the stores, right, full of cocaine, and things change. We don't always drink them out of bottles, and I guess they don't have cocaine in them anymore. Shucks. So basically, when you're doing, this is leading off of yesterday's training. So when you're doing the content that you're doing and you are helping people in deep ways and you're really giving them the value and the quality and you're following up and you're showing up consistently, right? Leaning into the client needs, the concerns, the frustrations, and the hopes, and following up with those people. So like I said, you comment, you're going to comment back to the people who are commenting to you, and you're also going to follow up with them after that. Checking in on people. It's not just about oh, this is a tactic to get more sales. This is how she attacks people in the DMs. It's ask anybody that knows me. I don't attack anybody in DMs. I will follow up though if people are commenting that something was helpful or that they're confused about something, and I give them a tip in the live training or I follow up in the comments in that training, I will often reach out to them in DM and say, hey, did that work for you? How is that working for you? Did you need any other help with that? Here's another thing that you can try. And it's not I would love to get that person. If I'm reaching out to that person, it's already because I like them as a human being. So I would probably love to work with them. But it's not me saying, this is my sneaky little approach to pretend to be nice and get these people into my circle. It's instead a little bit of self-validation. I want to make sure this is working for people. I want to make sure that this is serving them well. And I will switch and give them different advice if they need it. But it's also I do care. So they know that I care and I'm following up. And how many people are following up with these people in your circle? How many people are extending help and then checking on them, right? You don't have all the time in the world to do this. I'm very busy, you're very busy. I can't do this all the time. But when I do, when I feel inspired and led to a certain individual, I'll reach out to them. Ask Alex. Alex is one of them. Andrew's one of them. There are certain people, I can see the heart in them, and I know they want the change and they want the help and they want to do these big things, and I don't want their skills and their gift set and their God-given gifts to go untapped. So I'll check in with them. And one of those things is, it gives you the feedback, it gives you the validation, but it also lets them know that there's more. If you need more help with this, I have more ways to do that with you. There are other services that I can offer. So Alex, agreed. Very important to show transformations delivered. Good. I feel like I'm much better than I used to be. Sometimes it's easier to overlook true value of transformation of clients because it has been easy for me to deliver. Yes, and that's why asking them, asking themselves, what was it for you? What was the big standout to you? Because oftentimes too, we'll deliver these results and we're awesome, they got all this revenue, or they brought in these extra clients, or they finally finished their program and now they're launching, amazing, or they've created these systems which saves them 10 hours a week. What can they do with 10 hours a week? Family and income, amazing. But sometimes they'll surprise you, Alex, and they'll be but this was the most important thing for me, and you're that? For our Impact Club, for instance, formerly the Academy, and we changed things into the Impact Club, the people in the Impact Club that just graduated yesterday were it's the network. And we're what? Like, what about all this that we gave you? What about all these problems? What about the ROI that you got? What about the increase in sales that you got? What about the new? And they're like, yeah, but the network. And we're like, okay. People really love being connected in that community and being able to serve others and get served and get all that extra help. Hey, Dean, Australia. Is it bedtime yet? What time is it? What side of the coast are you on right now? I don't know exactly where you're from in Australia, Dean, but I am so happy you're here. And then... Andrew, you just got the news. Is that when you stop drinking cocaine? Do you still drink cocaine, Andrew? Kristen, how are you, Kristen? You beautiful thing. Okay, so it's the hangouts, right, Andrew? Like, you like that. I mean, honestly, because the people in your circle, like that, when you have a network like that, if your service provides that, like ours do, and you have a group of people that you've already vetted, like they're your ideal clients, so they are each other's ideal people too, right? Like, that's how you form this community and this network, and that's like extra bonus for them. Super. Like, if you can ever provide something extra like that for people, super. And that's why we ask questions. Like, I'm always asking people what they want, what's better, how do we do this better, what's more efficient, what do you like, what don't you like, so that we can continue to improve. That is all about calling in more clients, right? Extra referrals for people when you obviously show that you care and you do what you can to go above and beyond. That will call in more clients. And it's not just about like, well, you know, what if I never got paid yet, Sandra? What if I did this thing in the offline space, but I've never brought it online and I've never been paid? How am I supposed to do it then? Then you do it through the content. Then you do it through the direct reach outs. Then you do it through the comments in the content. You go into the groups that these people are hanging out for, like the extracurriculars that they're into. Like I said yesterday, if you know your person really, really well, you know everything about them, you know where they're hanging out, you know what they like, you know what they don't. What's up, Randy? And so going into those spaces where they're already hanging out and providing real value, not pitching, not cold DMs, none of that. We don't do that here. Actually being a human being and forming a relationship. Like yesterday in one of the trainings that I did in our group, I was talking about, Chaz gave an example of, it was through imposter syndrome, but he gave an example of having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, and you're just revving your engine, and it's like, it seems like you're doing a lot of work, but you're not going anywhere, which was an excellent example. And so, and my analogy would have been crouching the fence and getting crotch burn from crouching the fence and not doing anything on either side. You be the judge, whichever you like to use, go ahead. But when it comes to, when it comes to delivering value in a group, it's like, you either show up and you like comment a little bit and you heart some things and then you feel like you're doing a lot of work, or you go in there and you actively help people, you actively connect with them, you create real relationships, and that's where those conversions begin to happen for you. People have to trust that you're a good person and that you really mean what you say and that you show up consistently and that you do this all the time in order to consider working with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is why it's not about sales, and then like I'll try to take care of them after I get the sale. What ends up happening if you do focus on it like that, what ends up happening is the customer care stuff falls apart because you actually don't care that much about that part and it accidentally falls off. So when you consider the person first, they know that they can trust you because you've been showing up all along and you've been giving real help and you haven't been charging them for that. And nobody else is doing that. And you're showing up in bigger ways than everybody else, by the way. And then they're like, of course I can trust them. Then you have a real conversation with them. You bring them onto like probably a Zoom call and you ask them a lot of questions about where they're at to see if you actually can help them instead of forcing the sale. Like I said yesterday, once you get them on a Zoom call, once you guys are together on a Zoom call, you've already pre-qualified because you've already had them in your circle. They've gotten onto your schedule, onto your call calendar schedule by answering a bunch of questions that you've laid out for them to pre-qualify the phone call itself, right? So if you're not using Calendly or Acuity or some other kind of scheduling software for your calendar, do it. Do it. It automatically sends a Zoom link. It automatically throws it in your calendar. It automatically asks them the questions. If they don't answer the questions, don't get on the call. If they answer the questions the wrong way, you know it's probably not wise to take that phone call, and you can let them know, hey, heads up, I think that this might be a better route for you. Try this free stuff in the meantime, or try these free trainings, or like maybe this person can help you. But if you have been doing what you're doing with the content and showing up and being a good person and following up and delivering consistently, by the time they get to that questionnaire to get on a call with you, they're probably already qualified. I don't get a lot of drop-offs once they get to my question page because they already know who I am and how I can help. And those questions are more about them. It's like, tell me about you. Where are your goals? What are you trying to do? And these, like, I think I have 8 or 9 questions on mine so that I can understand them before I get on the call. I don't want to, like, I mean, it's such a waste of time when you have to vet each other on the actual call. If you know each other enough, once you get on, then you can start asking really, really powerful questions, really helpful questions to see whether or not you actually do want to work together. And that's why I call it an interview process, because I'm not desperate for a client, ever. I am always like, can I help them the most? And when I know I can, I will invite them to work with me. And I've got different things, different ways that people can work with me. But it's not this some desperate like grab, snatch and grab for clients. It's a, can I help them the most? Am I excited to help them? Let's go. You know what I mean? So let me know if that resonates with you, or if you guys have another software that you use. Like I used Calendly to start with, and then I started using Acuity because it's more customizable for your brand and it has a little bit more options, and I just like the way it looks better. But Randy Benke's up in the building. So let me know what you use. If you don't use anything, I would recommend those two. I can send you links if you want to. And then, why is this messing with me? Okay, so Alex, I'll send you a link to both of those actually, or I can drop them in the comments after, but I'll make sure that you get those for sure. And I'm going to write it down so I actually do remember. So basically it's that. And when I say what I wanted to lean into is that when I say following up with them more than other people do, show up better than other people do. What I mean by that is when you go up into the groups, say you're hanging out with people in the groups and you are like, well, my ideal client is, you know, they're like I said, okay, so my ideal client would be somebody in there between 35 and probably 55 years old, a female entrepreneur who is very action driven, very focused, probably an ex-athlete, not necessarily, probably has kids, either married or just divorced, not even just recently, but married or divorced is typically who I work with, not for any reason other than that happens to be the stat. But these women are typically, if they're former athletes, they're typically active in some way. So probably like outdoor groups, like in some kind of a sports community or kids sports groups or whatever, things like that. And I'm not in any of those particularly. I have other groups that I'm in, but if I'm in one of those groups, and I see somebody and I do a search in the group to see like one of the pain points that I know that I help with, and I'll put a keyword in there and I'll do a search for that and I'll see what kind of conversations are coming up. Okay, so by the way, write this down. If you came yesterday and you brought notes, do it again. We're gonna do this. So take notes. This is the powerful stuff. This is the stuff you don't want to sleep on right now, because this is the stuff that builds those bridges, builds those connections, gets people into your circle. They start DMing you. Like, that's easy. Once they start DMing you, that's like, oh, okay, like, let's play. When you do that keyword search and you see what they're talking about in the group, it brings up all these conversations. You decide, okay, which one do I want to help? Which comment do I want to talk to? Which question do I want to answer back? And then even those big groups where you're like, there's 135 comments. Mine's going to get lost. No, it won't. Not if you do it right. Here's how you do it. If you're a writer and you're like, I love to write, I'm really good at it, write in, like, Unicode text converter gives people the option to just type something in, and I'll send the link. I'll put the link in there too for that. Actually, I think I'll put it in the comments, but you guys can Google it. It's called Unicode text converter. And when you do this, you have the ability to make something bold, italicized, whatever. It changes the font quite a bit, and it allows that text in the comments to stand out. So imagine you're in the group, picture it with me, you're in the group, somebody had a question, you're like, I've got the answer to this, I've got an amazing answer to this actually. So if you're a writer, you go to Unicode text converter, like Google that, go in there, write your thing down, copy the new font, paste it into the comments, and start writing, like, just as the title, like as a hook, basically showing that you have the answer, and then start writing your solution. Don't have a full thesis where it's just like, thank you, Andrew, you rock, thank you so much. Andrew just dropped the link in there. Don't write a thesis, like break it up into line breaks. Every sentence, space, every sentence, space, so that people can visually consume it. and have some emojis in there where they're relevant so that the eyeballs can see that, so that your comment pops out as something that's relevant, well thought out, and well executed. That's the kind of stuff that people are going to go, oh, that. People will fish through the comments to see, that's what people do in those big comment sections. They'll fish to see what's helpful, because if they have that problem too, they look, right? They look in the comments. Let yours stand out in the comments, and that's how you do it. The better way to do it is by doing a video response. So good. Okay. So my phone is the thing that's like recording this right now, so otherwise I would show you on my phone. But if you have, pretend you're in the group, pretend you're in the comments on some post that you really want to help with, and you're in that comment section, you're like, I'm going to do a video. I can bang this out in like 30 seconds, no problem. And then you go to do the video. This is tactical advice first. If you go in the comment, it has the ability, there's a little camera icon. You can press the camera icon and you can take a picture, or you can do a video. The video is like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. It's small. So if you have a really quick answer, you can shoot it in 10, 15 seconds. You're good to go. Good. Otherwise, use your regular video app, like your embedded camera phone app, and just take a video as long as it needs to be. However fast you can get the answer out, just do it concisely, efficiently. Be friendly about it, like use your personality, and then go back into the comment section, hit that little camera icon in the comments, and upload the video that you just took. How many video comments do you see in groups or on other people's pages? I've been doing this for years now. I've been training thousands of entrepreneurs. I still don't see it. I still don't see people doing it. And when they do, when people are brave enough to do this, they only get positive feedback, by the way. And when they're brave enough to do this, I always get hit up. Like, oh my gosh, the video comments, this was next level. This was game changer. I can't believe nobody told me this. And I'm like, most people are so afraid to do it. But it's like, I get when people are afraid of lives. I was terrified of live video. Terrified of live video. If you've seen my trainings, you know, oh my God. So, but the pre-recorded, the beauty of that is that you can do it till you feel like you got it right. You can do it in a way that's like, okay, that felt like me. I'll do that again. And sometimes you just need to practice and get used to it, right? So I don't recommend you like trying to perfect a video for something like this. Real, raw, and relatable is much better. It's more convertible. People are like, oh, that person's, wow, they just like jumped right in to help me in a real way. And then they can get your personality, your tone, your accent, your everything, and your heart through a video way better than they can through text, right? So this is a way, that's what I'm talking about. When you go into call in more clients, people are gonna start seeing you, recognizing your face. And when you're showing up in those ways consistently, like if you're in those groups consistently, or if you're on these pages consistently, or if you're responding back in your own comments consistently in that way, people are gonna be like, they mean business, like they're seriously helping, like they are service-based, and it doesn't take that much time. It doesn't take, like, what are you doing with your time right now? And if you audited it, like, really, what am I doing with my day? Where are my hours and minutes going? I would argue that most of them are not 80% sales-driven activities and client approaching activities. I would guess that. Most people are not geared that way. Most people dabble in the stuff that doesn't make them money because they're more afraid, or they're sidetracked, or they're procrastinating for fear that they're not good enough. There's a lot of that going on during your day. And so when you start doing this, like it changes the game. Alex said, I remember you teaching the power of video comments. Big fear for me, but it's been so powerful. Thank you. And Alex was he's like the best case study for this, because Alex was, he was, oh my gosh, just so sweet. Like everybody that meets Alex just wants to bear hug him until he suffocates. But like right before he dies, they let go and they're like, okay, I just had to get it all out. And then I chose him, like in a live workshop, I chose him to go up and speak in front of everybody. He was terrified. It like hurt me to do it, but I'm like, but you have to do it because you're this good. Like people need to know. And once he did, he like got the courage to do it again. And now he's great on video. He's so good on video, and it didn't take much at all, right? Like Alex, you did it a few times and you're like, it's still a little uncomfortable, but like you got really good really quick. And now I think it's probably a lot easier for you. And you can feel free to comment on that or not, but when you're looking to call in more clients, it's about getting visible. It's about showing up consistently with real help. So think about this for yourself and for the circles that you run in. Who's actually doing this? Who do you know that's showing up consistently that you've seen in a group that you're like, oh my gosh, their name's like I see their name every day somewhere, and I'm friends with them now, and I see them all the time. And they're showing up in video comments, and they're showing up in they're probably not. Most people aren't doing that. And if they did, it's such a hack. It's such a hack into a strong relationship, I swear. But a lot of them aren't giving those quality comments. They're not breaking up the line breaks, because what would you rather read? This much text with no spacing? And I I won't look at that. I refuse to look at that. But the human eye can consume chunks at a time, and subconsciously we're speed reading through part of it. So it's a lot easier for somebody to read that content, that comment that you give, than the other one. So increasing the visibility on that, again, with the use of relevant emojis. Don't spam emojis, that's annoying. But and the Unicode text converter that Andrew dropped in the chat too, that's a really good one. Hey, Courtney. So let me know if you have any specific questions on client behavior, like talking to new clients, bringing them into your circle, anything specifically, and anything that you guys have been taught that you want to know, like, is this true, or is there a better way? I'm happy to answer that stuff too. I'm not about basically like blowing holes in other people's boats about like, oh, that trainer is not doing it right, or this teaching is terrible. But I will give you advice on what I think is better. And anybody that's out there trying to help is great. But sometimes things change, and when we know new ways to do things, you know what? Might as well apply them. So I'm not going to rag on any trainer, any coach that's trying to help people out there. But I will give you my advice on what I know, and I'm doing this all the time. This is all I do. And I mean, working with thousands of people in 2020, over 1,000 people this year already. This is what I do. So I want to make sure you guys are getting it right. The best part of the workshop for you, Alex. I'm so glad. That was honestly the best part of the workshop for me too. Meeting you, helping you, watching you grow, like go into that zone, like that was so powerful. And not just me too, like a lot of people were like, that was my takeaway. So where was I? I have to go back to my notes, right? I do this all the time. So, okay. So when you have, when you're following these people and you're, Courtney, you have a great profile picture, by the way. Can we talk about that? The lighting is amazing. Your skin, hair, everything looks great. I know this isn't about that, but every time I see it, I'm always like, oh, I love that profile picture. Okay, so that's another thing really quick. Can we talk about when you're calling in new clients? I mean, it just has to be said. What is your profile saying about you? So you might be doing these comments. Here's where it could go wrong for you. If you're doing these things, this strategy, and you're approaching real people in real ways, and you're having connections with people, you're having conversations, you're doing the video comments, you're like, it's awesome. But then they go to your page, and it doesn't say what you do. And the picture is a picture of a dog, or like a landscape, or like flowers. You obviously don't do this for a living. You're just like kind of low-key good at this. So, hey, Monica. So what does your profile say about you? Your profile picture is important. It does not have to be a professional photo. Like, it does not. I mean, it does not, okay? It just doesn't. Just look like you're trying. Like, take a good picture of yourself, natural lighting, maybe diffused light, which means like a sheer over the curtains or not direct sunlight. Take a picture of yourself in a way that you like, or have somebody take it for you, and then represent yourself in a way that feels like you in your profile picture. But don't hide. Don't have pictures of your kids. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're cousins, friends, nephews, foster kids, your kids, like grandkids. I don't know. I want to know who you are, because otherwise that feels creepy. It feels creepy online to talk to people that don't have a face, because this is a social network, right? So how are you representing yourself online? What does your bio say? You better say what you do in your bio so that people can know right away. That's a big mistake that people make, is just either not having it, or being like, I'm from this place, and I like this stuff, and a bunch of emojis or whatever, or like some mantra. Mantras are great, but they're not for your bio. Bio is like your mini biography. It's like, what do you do? Who are you? So if you're doing something that you're getting paid for online, please let them know what you do and how you help them. So a solution statement is really powerful. Some people call it a help statement. Like, I help these people get to this level. I help these people transform this without this much time, or without this much pain. Or I help this person find this kind of a relationship in this 6-week, 12-week, 13-week program, or whatever. Like, tell them what you do, so that when they go to your profile, they're like, oh, they do this. So it isn't just like some advice that their grandma passed down to them. This is like what they do. So they're really good at this. And then the other thing is that you should be having, if you don't have a private group, fine. Private groups are really powerful for that, like we talked about with Andrew, like that network and that community of people who can build each other up, network, create more powerful businesses together. But if you don't have a group, that's okay. What are you offering? Do you have a freebie? Do you have a, like I said, Acuity or Calendly that you could lead them to for a strategy call, discovery call? If you're just getting into the game, it's more of like a discovery call or a research call. But if you've been doing this for a while and you have a limited number of spots on your calendar to take new clients in, I have two spots available max every month for my high ticket one-on-one coaching, and that's not always available because sometimes I'll have 2 at a time for months and months and months, and I just don't have any openings for one-on-one coaching. And so I will have sometimes strategy calls because I have other services that I can help people with. I don't put my my link up there because I have a free group that people can join. So the banner, your profile, like your cover, your profile cover, that is a perfect opportunity to show people you're serious about what you're doing. So creating something like that in Canva or in PicMonkey or any other kind of program will basically quickly tell people what you do, tell people you're serious, and tell people what they can do next in order to get some kind of progress. And so if it's a freebie, if it's a free phone call, if it is a free group, whatever, that's your call to action. So what you do is you make a graphic, type out what you do, and be careful with the centering of the actual profile picture because mobile and desktop optimization make it weird. In our free group, we do have a template for that, by the way, so you can join that and you can get to that in my cover photo. So when you do that, when you put that thing up there, you want to say kind of like where they can find you, right? So click here to join my free group, or to get access to my free training course, which I have. It's called Zero to Launch. Our team made this free course for people to get from zero to paid client. And where other people are selling this thing for $1,000, $5,000, we just gave it away for free. We're like, let's make it. Let's spend a month, make this thing video, like let's do it, like production, captions, everything, and we'll just give it away for free. Suck on that, people that are trying to rake people over the coals for this. We don't believe you should pay to get started. So in that, like you click on my photo on my banner, and within the description is where you put the links, because you can't, like that, nothing's clickable on your cover photo, so you have to put it in the description. A lot of people are like, well, where do I see that? Where do I find that? Clicking on the photo, and then so you upload the photo on your cover for your Facebook profile, your personal profile I'm talking about. You upload the photo, and then you go back and click on that and edit the description. When you edit the description, that's where you say, hey, here's how I help this many people, or these people do this, and here's where you can join my free group, or here's where you can get on a call with me, or here's where you can get this free strategy thing, and maybe it's a download because you're sending them to a landing page for a freebie so they can get on your mailing list and find out more helpful things from you. So make sure that when you're having these conversations, it's in tandem with my profile is cleaned up. My profile is representing me and my business and what I do. And please write it in the comments if you have or have had hangups about doing your business on your personal page because it's personal and you feel like you don't want your friends and family watching that. Let me know if that's you, because it's a lot of people. And I can talk about that. Andrew, if your profile picture is a picture of your dog on a sick landscape, then I have to say no to that. Yeah. But I like where your head's at. It's creative thinking. It's moving around the box, not even inside it anymore. You're like looking at the box from outside and you're like, I hate you, box. No spill this time. Yay. I feel like I'm coming up in the world. Okay. So that is part of it. So again, being consistent with people, reaching back out to them, following up with them for realsies. And again, this does not take a lot of time. If you time block your day, and you don't need to schedule out every minute, every 15 minutes. Like, I mean, some people love doing that. Like, I feel like that's crazy. That gives me no flexibility. I can't even breathe in that kind of structure. But if you say, I'm going to take 30 minutes a day in the morning, I'm going to take 30 minutes a day at night, and I'm going to intently, strategically, focused, follow up with these people, connect with these people, have real conversations with them. This is how this gets done. So it doesn't take a lot of time, because a lot of people, if you were to audit yourself and your behavior and look at your phone app that says how much time you've been spending on certain apps, you'd be like, oh, I can find another 3 hours a day that I shouldn't be playing Candy Crush, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'm guilty of that. Like, I want to lie to myself sometimes and be like, you left the solitaire game open. It wasn't you. It was just open on your phone, and you weren't playing it that long. But I was. Sometimes it's really relaxing. Okay, so so the other thing is collecting your clients. Like when I say collecting your clients, getting more clients, focusing on calling them in by way of conversation. That Courtney, I'm going to address that really quick. When you, a lot of times the tendency as an entrepreneur when you're first getting into the social media space is to just put content up and hope they come. And it doesn't work that way at all. Because, again, people need to trust you and know that you care about them. They want to feel seen first before they decide to work with you, because there's a bunch of people they could be working with. Who's paying attention to them? Who cares about them? If I give my money to somebody, and if I'm going to spend a couple $1,000s with somebody, or $10,000 or $15,000 for a program, I want to know that they care and that they give a crap about my progress in that, and that they want to see me succeed and that they know my name. So when you're showing up this way, and you know people's stories and you know people's like pain points and what they're struggling with and what their hopes are, it's a lot easier. Don't believe the lie that you can just put some stuff up and that they'll start coming. It doesn't work that way. You really have to make connections. That's why the work is showing up for other people first in conversational ways, as though you're doing it in real life. Because yesterday, again, in another training, I told people, like, as a mom of 4 kids, I'm at the playground. If I see another mom struggling with something, like, I'm going to go over there and help her. Like, if she's dropping a bunch of stuff out of the stroller and she's got, like, hands everywhere and, like, a baby on her side, I'm picking up her stuff for her. Like, it's not even a question. You know what I mean? So if you see people struggling online in a way that you can help, go do it. Like, just go do it. Go help them. As though you would help them in real life if they drop something and their hands were full. Like, help them. Their hands are full. Okay? They really are. Their hands are full. Courtney, you said... I need to get better at that. Okay, so let me talk about the profile picture and the profile bio and showing up with your business on your profile page. Let me explain the difference, because, and oh, by the way, in the comments, let me know if you have a business page for your business, or if you don't have one yet, or if you have any feelings about that. Talk to me about your business page on Facebook, because I want to hit that too. So, your profile picture, your profile bio, your profile cover. If you've been on social media for like 20 years and you're like, I've just been hanging out with friends and family and I really want to do this thing, but like, I just don't want people to know that I'm doing it. It feels creepy to sell. I don't want people to know what I'm doing. What if they see me fail? What if it doesn't look good? What if I'm not getting the clients? First of all, they don't know if you have clients or not. They're not going to see you fail. Even if they saw you fail, they saw you try, and that's more inspirational than anything you could provide to that community. Okay, so let's take that off the table. And let me just drive that home one more time. If they saw you fail, if you tried and you actually did fail, you'd go to bed at night, you'd end up on your deathbed and you'd be like, I went after it. And I feel good about that. That's one regret I don't have. Thank you. Thank you for that, because those regrets are heavy and we carry them with us forever. But the other thing is, people are going to judge you whether you are Mother Teresa or whether you're Hitler. They're going to judge you. So why don't you just do that thing inside you that's really inspired, that thing that you're really good at, that thing that you actually want to do? We don't have very much time, and we just don't. And sorry to be morbid, but we don't. And I know so many people that have wasted decades on their idea and their hope to create something that they never have. And Trisha, my angel, I love you. I love you so much. Trisha's another one. Like, already successful businesswoman, blew it out of the park this year. So proud of you, Trisha. So when Courtney, we're talking about your profile, what are they going to say? Are they going to talk behind your back to each other? Cool, let them talk. If they're the type of people to do that, I block them. I've blocked family members. I'm talking about immediate family members, not like second cousins, like, oh, you raised me? Block. If you don't bring support, encouragement, love, and energy, anything positive to my page, that's fine. But if you bring something negative, you're out of here, dude. I don't have time. I don't have energy. I don't have patience. I don't have space, because you're not only affecting me, and I don't need that kind of like dip in my day. I already have my own demons going on. So if you do that to me, you're out of here, because my people don't need that kind of energy either. And I'm like really protective of my people, very mother bear about my space. And I know that the people that are following me and getting help with me are already struggling with getting their thing off the ground or getting their thing scaled, or like, I've got, I'm making 6 figures, that's great, but like, what about the 500K mark? And they're struggling in there. And each level you get more struggles, more imposter syndrome, more blocks, more, I don't know what to do with this level yet. Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe I didn't earn it. Maybe I don't deserve it. Like every next level, right? So I do not allow that kind of stuff on my page. So Courtney, if those people are in your life, that's one thing. Block them. Who cares? What are they going to do? Like fight at the family reunion? Whatever. Like don't go. I don't go. I don't go to stuff like that. So, and I love my family so much, by the way. But the other thing is that you can privatize your settings. You can privatize your settings so that only certain people see your stuff. You can even go live like that, where only certain people see your stuff. I'm global, like I've got the little world thing icon on mine, so like anybody online could see it anywhere. Even if you're not a Facebook member, you can like find the link and see it. And then the other thing is that you can privatize it so that you can decide who sees what, when, and you can also decide like, hey, family, I don't want to cut you out. Like, let's form a group, and this is where I post all my stuff. But on my personal page, I'm going to be doing my business. When you decide to respect yourself and take yourself seriously for your business, and you put the focus on this is my passion and this is what I'm made to do right now, and maybe it's not forever, but I'm definitely made to do this right now, and you start focusing on how you can help those people, like I talked about yesterday. What kind of pain are they struggling with? What are they suffering with? Why aren't you helping them? Why are you sitting there worried about what other people are thinking when those people need you? When those people need your help and they're in pain, and you're worried about somebody's opinion of you. I'm talking to myself, by the way. You're worried about somebody's opinion of you. Somebody who doesn't pay your bills, somebody who doesn't speak life into your day, somebody who doesn't support and encourage you and your family, your relationships, your kids. Like, what? Who gives a about their opinion in the end? Like, let's bring it all the way down and ask who really cares, right? So I have you said I have a private Facebook group, not super active on it, struggling with time, homeschooling, and 2 under 2, and preach. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, okay, so amazing. It's an excuse. I just have to make time. That's the nut I'm on. Courtney, believe me, I get it. I had 2 under 2 for a while. I had 2 under 2 twice. So I've got 4 kids, and the second batch of kids, 2 under 2, are so testosterone-y. I made that a name a long time ago because I don't know how else to say it. Like, they're testosterone-y. They're just full of it, and they're insane. So I had to get really specific with my time. And in my free group, Courtney, if you're in there, there's a time blocking, like a productivity training that I do in there for that. So I would love you to go in there and let me know I'm going to just write it down. I'm going to tag you in it. So make sure you're in my free group for that, Courtney, because that's really going to help. People love that. Tag Courtney productivity training. Got it. So yeah, Andrew, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Monica said, profile bio example, please. I have a business page and struggling with what to post to where. So let me hit the business page thing. Thank you, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, by the way. I love you, Michelle, so much. Michelle Goodman is another one, like no excuses. She was like, I don't really know how to play this game on social media, but like, just teach me. I'll do it. She's so great. So here's what you do. Let me just talk about the difference between, because this is still all about calling in your clients, right? Where are they finding you? How are they seeing you? How do they get to you? How do they learn from you, know you, trust you, all that stuff. So we've got our personal pages, we've got a potential business page, and we've got private Facebook groups or public Facebook groups, but keep them private, respect people. Personal page, I'm talking about doing this thing on the personal profile, right? Why, Sandra, why aren't you telling me to put it on my business page? You have a business page, Sandra. Sure do. Why aren't you telling me to put it there? So I have an established business, like legally established, several businesses. I take it very seriously. I'm not found in person. I'm a service-based business online, but I created that business page not only to help people feel comfortable about like, oh yeah, she's like really doing this full time. Yeah, I am. But it's also because like I have separate resources in there, and you can see that, and that can rank on Google. People can find that. What does Facebook say about profile versus business page versus groups? Facebook's priority for your content is going to be profile first above everything. I'll tell you why in a second. Second is going to be groups. They're pushing groups big time. You will start seeing in the future, you'll start seeing ads in your groups. I know, whatever. But like, that's where they're going to go. They're putting a lot of focus on groups. So they're supporting the algorithm for posts and activity in groups. So pay attention to that. The last thing that you're going to see activity on, the last thing you're going to get traction on is your business page. It is like so low. It's like so bad that like, if I get 1,000 views on one of my videos on my personal page, and I do the same one on my business page, and I do this all the time to test it, I'll get like 20 views. I got over 1,000 people following that page. I'll get like 20 views. It's like insane. It's so bad. Here's why. Facebook, if you're a business making money on Facebook, they want you to pay to play. They want you to buy their ads. So they're not going to reward your business page unless you're paying for ads. And they're like, okay, now that you paid us, we'll show them to people. That's why. So yeah, Trish, business page is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Unless you're like a brick and mortar for the most part, and you want to let people know where you physically are. The other reason you have a business page is because you can't run ads without them. You have to have a business page to run ads. So the profile, let us foundationally get back to basics on what this thing is. Facebook is a business, number one. Number two, it's a social community. So as a business who respects, understands the psychology behind social media, social people, social networking, social interactions, they know that if you are on your personal page, hanging out and talking to people who are in your circle, you will stay on longer. If you stay on longer, you might see one of their ads. If you see one of their ads, you might buy something from them. If you buy something from them, they get more money. Rinse and repeat. It's a business. So they're going to support the algorithm for any content that you post on your personal page much faster and greater than they will in any other location on Facebook. Does that make sense? And Monica, let me give you an example of a bio. So let me actually pull up my own bio. So my bio, I've got them like delineated. So biz coach, Generation Impact co-founder, keynote speaker for Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, author. That's who I am. That's what I do in a nutshell. Put it on my grave. I don't know. Don't. Say something cooler about me on my grave. Just kidding, I'm not getting buried. I'm getting burned alive. I mean dead. Wait, what? Okay, so, but in the intro, I'm sorry, that went really downhill really fast. In the intro section is where you can put your links for like, here's where I am, here's my business page. So in my intro, if you go to my page, you can see it, works at Generation Impact Consulting. That's a business page for our other business that will run ads, and that's why we have the business page. Right now we're doing everything organically, and we've been doing that for the last year and a half on purpose. And then you can see president, co-founder, Revolution Health Quarters. And then you can see keynote speaker trainer at mastermind.com. And then you can see CEO at Sandra Hasley & Co. Married to Sean Hasley, joined November 2013. By the way, it says join, this is funny. It says join November 2013. I didn't join then. My sister made an account for me and her together, and I like never went on it. And then I officially like came online in 2019. So I see that all the time. I'm like, I was not online then. That's hysterical. But then you have the ability on Facebook, not Instagram, but you have the ability on Facebook to have a bunch of hyperlinks, like websites. I have one. Don't make people search. Don't make people hunt. Don't make people decide. Make things easier on people. Give them one link. So my one link is Linktree. And when you click on that, that's when you can see, like Linktree gives you this option. There's a free and a paid option for Linktree. It lets you put your links, like all your links. So if you have trainings, if you have like a scheduling software, you can put it up there. If you've got a group, you can put it up there. If you have a YouTube page, put it up there. If you've got a training specifically on Facebook that you want people to see, you can put it up there. Like I have Everyday Miracle Women live feature. So the last time I did an Everyday Miracle Woman, I put that on there because certain people wanted to see that. So I'm like, okay, just find it in my link, find it in my bio. So if that makes sense. So Monica, that's kind of how you clean it up. Because if you go to my page, there's nothing that's telling you I do anything other than what I'm doing. Strategist, consultant, author, boom. That's what I do. Look at my cover page. It says click here. If you click here on my cover photo, it tells you what I do in the free group. It tells you where to go. It gives you a link to it. Everything about me on my page says I do this for a living. And then every training you see is either super helpful, promoting other people, or just funny because I'm a psychopath. Okay, Monica, that's awesome. Michelle, you're the best. Trisha, I'm never going anywhere unless it's to your house. You're not getting rid of me, lady. Forget it. We'll be in our circle. We'll be in a circle together forever. Period. So that's basically that's what this is all about. If anything from this training clicked with you about calling in more clients, let me know specifically what it was that was powerful for you, because I want to know where I know when I'm in workshops with people, when they pay to come in and get a certain type of training, I know what they need. They came in for that. But on my page, it's always super helpful for me if you can tell me what was the most powerful thing that you got out of this training. You didn't pay to be here. So like, what was it for you? Like, were you surprised by anything you heard? Like, I love hearing that from people so that I can, again, like I said yesterday, dive deeper into it. I'd love to know so that I can help further with that. Invites open forever. I wish you were coming to this side of New York and not New York City, because I would be so happy. But one day. So that's what I want. I want you guys to build on this training. It's coming again tomorrow. But the training from yesterday and today is, and if you had your pen and paper, talking about what to help people with, how to help them, how to show up consistently, quality, and bring the content on a regular basis so they know you're serious. And then today we're talking about calling in those clients into your circle so that they can find you, so they know where you're at, so they know how to get in touch with you, so they know how to have conversations with you, and to believe that you actually do this for a living. So that's really important for your business as you grow it online. And if you have any other blocks, Courtney, with all of that, let me know. But there's going to be more trainings in our private group today. So if you're available for that, go to the events section and see that in the private training today. But there is the 0 to launch for everybody who hasn't been through that free training. Legitimately, coaches are charging $1,000 to $5,000 for a training like this, and most of the ones I've seen, we just do it way better. I'm just going to say it. We do it way better. We know what we're doing. We've been doing this for a long time. I've been a consultant for businesses, entrepreneurs, and corporations roughly 20 years. So I know what I'm doing, and I know what other coaches are doing. And some of the ones that we compared it to, a lot of the ones we compared it to, I'm like, man, they're charging for this? Dude, let's just go ahead and make some people mad and make a better one and give it away for free. How's that feel? Feels good, because now you guys have no excuse. Thanks, Monica. So I will be here tomorrow again at 9:30. We're going to talk about what your business might be missing. So let's hit that tomorrow. Hit me up with comments, guys, about what was most helpful for you today, and or if something came up in this live training, whether you're live with me or catch the replay, what did you need more help with? Like, what could I have expanded on for you? I'll hit it in the comments again. I might just do a video comment for you. What? Duh. Okay. So I love you to pieces. I'm so glad you guys showed up with me today. I really love hanging out with you. These lives together make me so happy, and they give me fuel for the rest of the day. So I love it. Thank you for showing up. Thank me better, or you could thank me for showing up by you doing the things in your business that you could be doing to grow and expand. You got to be out there. You got to help them. You have to help them. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. My voice may or may not be better. I'll see you then.